Hello, I'm Martin Walker and I'm here to explain the new course development process that was implemented here at SUNY Potsdam in 2017. And I'd like to begin by giving you some definitions of terms I'm going to use. Distance learning, we often abbreviate to DL, and it could include online courses, fully online courses, or hybrid courses are ones where the student may come in once a week to campus but spends most of their time working online. The key thing is the student is at least mostly at a remote location. The courses for online are usually developed by two main people. One is the subject matter expert, the developer, that is usually the person who's going to end up teaching the course, but not always, usually. And the other key person involved is the instructional designer, and they're going to be working together. The instructional designer is the expert on how to lay out the Moodle site and some of the tools that are available in Moodle. And then the faculty member is of course the expert in history or geography or chemistry, whatever the subject is. There will be a third person involved in the final checks on the course, and that will be a faculty reviewer who will be brought in as an independent checker of the course. We also have a system now whereby faculty are trained and get experience in teaching online. Once they have that training and experience, they're said to be credentialed, and those experienced faculty are allowed more of a free hand and a more relaxed timeline, because they've shown that they can meet deadlines and they know what's involved in the process of teaching online. The process really begins with obviously preparation planning. If it's a completely new course, you still have to go through the same systems that you would with a face-to-face class, which would mean you'd have to get the chair's approval and the dean's approval. If it's an arts and sciences course, it would go through the Arts and Sciences Curriculum Committee. If you're in one of the other schools, you need to follow the normal pattern for any new course in those schools. If those courses have already been approved by the appropriate curriculum committee or departmental committee, whatever it is appropriate in your case, then it does not need to go through that all over again, as long as it was approved for the face-to-face. However, if the faculty member, that is the developer, has not taught before, that means they're not credentialed, then that developer will have to take training. PTOL is Pedagogy and Technology of Online Learning, and it's a course taught on our campus. It is available to all of our faculty who are teaching online for the first time, and it helps you learn the techniques, and it also helps you begin to get your course ready for teaching. The next step is to get the intent packets submitted. Often that will just really be the main form, which is this one here, and this is just the first page, though I think the form is actually only 2 pages, and this is done electronically. So you just type the information in and submit it. You do need to attach a course syllabus. If it's a new course, then it will need to get the banner special topics form. And sometimes people will go straight to a permanent numbering, in which case you need the catalogue entry form. The next step in the process is to get the intent form signed by the various people in the chain. DL support, that's the person who's keeping track of the paperwork for this, and they will make sure that the person gets paid correctly and that the course is in the system. Department chair obviously needs to know that it's going to fit in with the faculty member's load in the indicated semester. Since this intent packet is submitted at the same time as the face-to-face classes for the fall and spring, that should be part of the same process. The dean makes sure that the curriculum committee or whoever has approved it, and also that it's part of the normal payment, or is it a summer class that needs payment there. The distance learning coordinator, DL coordinator, will make sure that there is an instructional designer available to complete the work because they're going to be collaborating with the course developer to get everything done. And the provost actually needs to sign off to say that money is available to pay for the development costs, which are principally going to be the cost of the instructional designer who builds the course. Once that's gone through, and this is an electronic form, so hopefully it can go through very quickly, then people can start work on writing the course. And the course consists really of two main things: the subject matter content, which is written by the faculty member, and the instructional designer is putting together the actual Moodle site or whatever it is, which is the online content. They will collaborate with the course developer, that's the faculty member, to make sure that their goals and preferences are met, but at the same time they can provide some suggestions on the best practices, how to maybe improve the course. There may be some technology available that the faculty member was unaware of that they could incorporate. I know I've done that in my own courses. I've learned about green screen videos and all sorts of nice tools I can use to liven up my online course. Sometimes it could just be practices that are more suited for online, because teaching online is different than teaching face-to-face. The instructional designer is also experienced at following the rules, knowing that it's going to have to go through the OSCAR review later on and comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act. At the end of this development process, the developer has now written all of their course content, and that's the stuff to do with chemistry or psychology or history, whatever it is, and provided that to the instructional designer, and they've built a Moodle site which the faculty member is happy with and that the instructional designer knows will comply with the rules. Then it should be ready for review. And this is what the first page of the OSCAR review looks like. And if everyone's done their job correctly, the course content should comply, should be in a format that's going to work for the students, and also the layout of the course and all of the rules of ADA compliance have been met by the instructional designer. And we bring in a third person to give a fresh insight in case there is some problem that the two people working together have overlooked. And if everyone's happy, and the idea is that this should be almost a formality by the time you reach this point, because you've been following the rules as you've been building the course, so of course it's going to pass. So the OSCAR review has now been done using the rubric, and putting the three reviewers' viewpoints together, you should catch most of the flaws in the course layout, and you should be able to get some good ideas on how to improve it. Hopefully there won't be any significant things that need to be done at this point. And if all 3 reviewers agree that there's nothing major to be done, that's requiring more than 2 hours of work, I think is classed as a major revision, then the course is deemed to be ready to go. That doesn't mean that the work stops, though. There will be some minor and moderate level revisions that should be worked on before the course is delivered. But if there are these bigger problems that need to be fixed, then they will be completed. That will usually be done by the instructional designer, but occasionally it could be relating to the course content, in which case it would be done by the faculty member. And that should be done according to the timelines. So let's look at the timeline for credential faculty. And these are people, of course, who've taught online before and passed PTOL. So they're given a more relaxed timeline, and they will submit their intent form at the same time as the class schedule is put together. The second iteration, it's usually called, which is either in February or September usually, and they just get on with the work. They put the course content together while the instructional designer puts the Moodle site together, and then they should be talking to each other the whole time. And 4 weeks from when the class is to be delivered, they need to have all the content written, and the instructional designer should have it ready to hopefully pass the OSCAR review. And if the OSCAR review shows any major revisions, there are 2 weeks for the instructional designer to fix those problems. And that shouldn't be a problem. There should only be normally 1 or 2 of these major revisions left at this point. For non-credential faculty, it's a little more strict, because this is their first time through the process. And our experience has been that usually when people go through this the first time, they don't realize how much work it is to put a whole course together at once. Now, it is a lot easier than it used to be, because at one time the developer had to also write most of the Moodle site themselves. They no longer have to do that. But even so, putting together all of their course materials and quizzes and everything is a lot of work. And so 30 weeks before they plan to deliver is when they should fill out the intent form. So that will be somewhat earlier than the credential faculty. If they haven't taken PTOL, they should normally be in PTOL or signing up for it right then, because they need to have completed their training by 20 weeks out. At the same time, the course shell should have been put together by the instructional designer. And this is still a collaborative process, like with the credential faculty. By 10 weeks out, everything should be put together. Ideally, we would prefer that the OSCAR is completed by then. However, the absolute hard deadline is 8 weeks out if that's not possible. But it's much better to get this done sooner, just because there may need to be some more changes. If it's a developer who's not used to working with the instructional designer, they may have overlooked some things, and those things will have to be corrected before the course is delivered. So as with face-to-face classes, we need to ensure quality. And this is done online a little differently than with face-to-face classes, because it's harder to look over someone's shoulder while they're teaching online. So one way we do it is we do a course refresh process, which is done every 3 years, and that's done by using the OSCAR process. The 3 reviewers again, that's to make sure that the course has remained fresh And also there may be new technologies that have come along. There may be changes to Moodle which make something harder or easier. So there may need to be some changes at that point in the way the course is laid out. To maintain the quality, we want to also have regular training materials, and these will be offered by the Center for Creative Instruction in the library. There may be talks, there may be videos, and this will teach faculty about some of the new technology, some of the new ideas in pedagogy that are coming out, some of the best practices. Sometimes the new technology enables new ways of teaching, and to stay fresh, that's also useful. But we shouldn't forget, as with face-to-face courses, that the department should be involved in making sure the course is good. The usual things that are done, course evaluations, etc., course observations are the closest thing we can do to what you would do in the classroom with a face-to-face class. Those should be handled in the normal way as with face-to-face. So let me summarize the process for you. As the faculty member, once you've got the various approvals from your department chair, curriculum committee, etc., then you're ready to submit the intent form. That starts the process, and you then work on developing the course while the instructional designer builds the Moodle site. When you're ready to do the OSCAR review, which will be a few weeks before you deliver it at the latest, then you and the instructional designer and third person get together and check that you didn't overlook anything. Then you're ready to teach the course. And then after 3 years, you need a course refresh, just to make sure that things are staying fresh and that you're keeping up with the latest developments of technology. And hopefully, if you do this, you should have a professionally designed course with great content and enthusiastic students. Thank you.